Hello, Fiona Whitten from Oakfield Crafts here, and today is a virtual Card A Cuppa day. It's a little different from normal in that I'm not live because at the time that this does go live and get posted on Facebook, I will be flying over to the States. So I thought I would take a minute or two, well, I imagine it's going to be more than that, to share with you the Card A Cuppa kit and the cards that did actually go to Card A Cuppa this morning over at Home Grange. Trisha and Carol have very kindly agreed, and they are hosting today's event, or hosted today's event, and also will be hosting the two in March because I missed the last one having come back the day after. So yes, I am off to the States for a few weeks. Gonna see my husband and my son. Husband's over there on a trip himself, but the son lives over there, so it'll be a chance for us three to get together for first time since I want to say July last year. Wow. So anyway, without further ado, I thought, as I said, I'm going to share the kit with you today. So this is the kit that went this morning and also went in the post. Sorry about the shadow there, but I'm not quite sure what I can do to get that away. Anyway, so we have a envelope as always. This week we've got a thick basic white card base. So this is an A4 sheet that's been cut in half at 10.5 centimeters. So the other half would be sort of there. And then so it's 10.5, and then it's been folded at 14.9, and that makes the card base. There is a piece of double-sided paper. There is a very sweet, this is a die cut from the Grove dies. I'll show you what they look like. So you'll find the stamp set and the dies that we're using today in the annual catalogue. So this is the Grove dies. This is the particular one that we have used to create the scene. So simply cut a piece of shaded spruce to the required size, and then just die cut by running that through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And then you do have to sort of, sometimes they all come out, but mine I did actually have to prick out a couple of bits, but that's not too bad. And then we also have two deer, which again come from the die set. So that's I want to say, yeah, it must be that one because it's looking back on itself. You have to remember that that's the reverse of what it actually is, and similarly that one. And then these are other elements of the die. So these cut out trees, there's a bank that gives you sort of staging for a scenery, leaves, and there's a third deer. So those are the dies that were used to create the kit. So we've talked about that and we've talked about that. And then there is simply a piece of basic white. This is just the normal thickness of basic white. And then there's also this textured, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's shimmery and it's textured. So you can kind of hear the sound. So it looks like a little bit of corrugated card, but it's very pretty. This is shaded spruce, and the pack you will find in the mini catalogue, and you get 3 colours in it. So it comes with the shaded spruce, balmy blue, and white. So that's what the pack is made up of. And then you probably want to see the actual cards that have been made. So the first card is this one. So basically everything, well, I was going to say nearly everything because we didn't actually use the additional cardstock. So we have our card base, on which we've glued the double-sided paper. Use some foam pads for this piece, for the Grove die. Stamped sentiment, and sentiment comes from the Grassy Grove stamp set. So this is the stamp set that coordinates with the dies, or I should say the dies coordinate with the stamp set. And then the two deer have sort of been, that one's been laid on top and glued, and then this one's sort of intertwined with the trees. So that was the first one, and then the inside, we've just put some grass. So we've used this piece here, this stamp here. And just so you know, this stamp set, the images shown here on the front are actually at 90%. So you need to be aware of that. Don't think that that's the full size. It's not. It is actually larger, as you can see. It would go across the whole of a normal cardstock, and virtually across if you were going to have it in landscape. So that's a nice. If you can see, there's like trees and all sorts of things. And then that wibbly wobbly die that's in the die set, will then cut that out. Actually, you can see this here. I'm going to say it looks like trees, but it's not really. It's sort of like rocks, ground with plants on. But you could actually, if you set it far back enough, you could actually say that they are trees. That's just a thought. Anyway, so that was the first card. The second card was this one. So stamped some trees using the shaded spruce, excuse me. But it was originally stamped, and then rather than inking up again, it's been stamped again. So this is like the second set of stamping with the same ink. So it gives it a much lighter colour. It's the same, it's exactly the same colour, it's just a lighter shade, but it also then gives you like a perspective. So these trees that sort of look as if they're disappearing into the background. The die has just been simply put on top at an angle, and then the deer were actually, so this time we changed it around and put the little one at the back and the bigger one at the front. And then stamped the trees again on the inside. So that was the second card. Third card, slightly different in that we stamped the sentiment onto that strip of white and adhered it to the textured shimmer cardstock. This is the die, but it's been cut in half. So I wouldn't even say half. It's approximately, let's see. If we were to lay it over, it's like, it's not a third, it's not a half. So it's somewhere in between. So if I was to lay that on top, you can see it's just simply this piece here that's been cut off, and it added to the card front, but only once we've stamped here and we've added the deer. And then we've added that. So this has got dimensionals under. This sentiment has got dimensionals under. So there's quite a lot of dimensionals going on here. And then on the inside, just a little bit of the grass, some sweet flowers. So those are the three cards that, as I said, went to Card A Cuppa. And I'm guessing you kind of want to know what I'm going to do with my card. So would I, but hey, and I'm going to kind of do a take on this, but not quite, it's not the same as that, and a take on this. So let's see how we go. You can cut this using your paper trimmer, which is what I'm going to do. And in fact, I'm going to cut mine in half. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Maybe I will just see which is the front. That's the front. So it's 13 and a half So if I cut it at 7, no, I want to go smaller than that. I need it so that this piece is bigger. Cut it at 6, like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that as the, I know that's the reverse, but I want to do it so that it looks like there are more trees in the woodland than there actually is. So that's going to get glued on. And then that one is going to have some dimensionals underneath it. And I do need, I was going to say I need a bone folder, but I'm not quite sure. I think they've all gone in the Card A Cuppa kit, so I'm just going to use an acrylic block. It works just as well. Now, do I want to put some paper on here? That is the other question. So I want this to look like there is extra trees, but at the same time, I don't want to see that left hand edge. Don't mind the right hand, it's just the left hand edge I don't want to see. So, do I do that, or do I do, I think I'm going to do that. And then the $64 million question is, how big is, so this is actually quite large, this stamp. So I could put that there, like so, which is what I'm going to do. Right, pick that up. Now this is a red rubber, so it's known as a cling mount simply because it clings to your acrylic block. And I need my shaded spruce. There we go, shaded spruce ink pad. Actually, I'm gonna make sure that I think that's okay. Just want to kind of figure out whereabouts I want it. So it's roughly there. Hopefully this is straight. If it's not, it's not. It's a little light, but hey. So that's going to go on there like that. And then that one's going to go on top. Close up my ink before I end up with that everywhere. So this one, as I said, is going to be glued. I just need enough on here to hold it. It doesn't need to have masses of glue everywhere, especially on the finer bits. You don't really want the glue to be squidging out. Now let's see, so if I put it there, like that. Oops, not straight. That's pretty straight now. There we go. And then that one is going to go on the top, as I said, with the dimensionals. Now I'm going to have to use mini dimensionals because I don't want them all showing through. And I do actually have some to hand. Amazing. Here we go. There's the mini ones. So I'm going to use those. In fact, what I think I will do is I will actually put a strip along those. So I'm just going to use the edging on this. Because after all, you do want to make sure that you use all of it. So that's what edging's for. So I'll put a strip on along here, like so. And then I need 2 other strips. They don't need to be ridiculously wide, so I'm just going to, it's probably only, what, 1/2 centimetre wide, if that. It also doesn't need to cover the whole of the this piece going across. Just needs to be enough to hold it so that it doesn't bend and fall over on itself. Right, that's that, and then I think I will just carefully position some more. So that's quite a nice large space to put dimensional or mini dimensional, as is that. And put one here, I think, like so. I'm hoping against hope that this is actually in the right spot for you all to see. This is the first time I've just done a straightforward video to using my phone, the camera on my phone, rather than recording it to Facebook. So this is going to be interesting. Right. So we want it to match up. Well, it's not going to match up, but it's going to give the appearance that you're walking into the woods. So you've got trees that are at a slight distance. Now, where do we want to put these deer? I think like one here and one here, because Mum's looking back on that one. So that would be good. I think we're going to glue the little deer. We're lucky that where we live, we do actually have deer that occasionally come and visit us. When we first bought the place, I said to my husband, because deer are well known for eating all your plants, especially roses, and my husband likes roses, that we would have to deer-proof the back garden, which is what we've done. And I said, basically, it's going to be a free-for-all in the front. So if they find something they want to eat, like the hedge, then just let them get on with it, because then hopefully, fingers crossed, they will leave the back garden alone. And it's worked so far for, we've been here 17 years this year, or 16 years. It worked fine until last year. And when all of a sudden we found, well, when I say we, I mean the dog found a deer in the garden. Needless to say, the deer didn't stay there very long and jumped back over the garden gate, which is actually quite short. Probably needs to be made taller, but I don't really like tall fences and sheds and things. So we're going to put her here. I'm assuming it's a her. There's no antlers. That's sticky. That's sticky. So we're going to put her. Yeah, we're going to put her here, like so. And then I guess we could put a sentiment on. I'm not sure that I actually want to, but we could do. The question is, do I want to be brave enough to go and stamp on here, or just simply stamp on the white and then add it to the card? Should have thought about that in advance. But hey, this is what happens when you make a card on video. I got someone, thank you, or I've also, one of the sentiments used on the other cards was also, came from celebrating you. So I could put that on instead. What have we got here? Happy Mother's Day. Happy anniversary, Father's Day. Just for you. Maybe we'll just go for that. Yeah, place spot there. So proud of you, just for you. There we go. Now, if you're not sure about these and how well they actually line up, the tip or the trick is you line up your block on a grid paper and you can see the lines through the block, and then when you place your stamp onto your grid, onto your block, sorry, you can use the lines shining coming through the grid. Now I'm not directly ahead of this, because if I did, my head would be against the phone, so I'm kind of hoping that that is straight. I'm going to use some shaded spruce ink again, and I'm just going to stamp hopefully what is in the middle and straight. Yeah, it'll be okay. Now let's see, how does that look on here? There's a lot of green, I have to say. So I could actually put that in there like that, or on top. I'll just leave it as this. Or I could just go for it and stamp it on there. I think it's a little bit too big. I think that's what my problem is, because I put that extra piece on, it's come further over. So I'm going to use my trimmer to make it a little bit thinner. I'm going to take off 1/2 centimetre, or what I think is 1/2 centimetre, from the top and the bottom. Maybe not quite 1/2 centimetre from the bottom. The problem is that that J for the just bit is quite low. That kind of looks fairly equal. What do you reckon? And I'm just going to banner that. So cut up the middle and then go from the corners to the middle. But I'm only going to banner one end. So this can go, I think I'm going to have that, I kind of want it going under. Tuck it in here, I think. But again, I'm going to, yeah, I quite like it like that. So I'm going to put some more dimensionals on it. We've already got dimensions on the deer and the trees, so putting dimensionals on this is not going to add any height. Let's see, just put a couple along the way. Could sort of flick those edges up so they do actually look like a banner. Which is why I'm not putting a dimensional down that end, because I don't really want it to be sticking up. I'm going to put that here. I just put it there. Then that end is hidden by that tree, which is quite good. Hopefully that's straight. Yep, that's that. Don't need that. So I do have my paper still, so I could cut a strip of that to go in the card. So that's what I'm going to do. In fact, I'm going to cut a strip to go in the card, and I'm going to cut another strip to go on the envelope. Now that's not going to be, so I'm just going to have to cut it that way. So I just need 2 strips that measure 1.5 centimetres in width. They'll both be a little bit too long, but hey, that's what paper snips are for, to trim off the excess. So let's put this one on first. This can go on the envelope. Make sure I've got my flap the right way round. Just put that on there. Let it dry for a second, and then I'll cut those ends off. I turn it that way around, it's okay. And then similarly put this bit in the middle of the card. Again, it's not going to, oh, will it fit along? So I could put it along the bottom, but I'm actually, when I've got a landscape card, I quite like to just put it down the edge, like so. Let's leave that to dry just for a second over there. Cut that bit off, and that bit, oops, bit of glue there. So that's my envelope. And then this will be my card. There we go. So that's card number 4, using that same kit. So there's my card and my envelope. Oops. And then here are the other cards. I guess I could have switched that around and made it a portrait card. It does kind of, with this Grassy Grove die, it does actually work better to be in a landscape. Right, hopefully now you can see all 4. Just need to move it down a bit, I think, like that. So hopefully you can see those. Hope you've enjoyed seeing this today. As I said, this is actually going to be up on YouTube, so you've been watching the video on YouTube, even if you're watching it from the link from my Facebook page. Hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget, Sale-A-Bration ends on the 28th, so you've only got, well, what time was it, the 15th today, so you've only got less than 2 weeks now to make the most. So I'd love for you to join the team, but if that's not your thing, that's okay. But don't forget, you can still earn some freebies when you shop. So and to do that, you just need to visit oakfieldcrafts.com and then click on the shop button at the top. So thank you for watching, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.